What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? So today, our quote of the day is coming from Ellie Claire. She has a great book out there called Overcoming Tough Times. You guys should check it out. We want to talk about the ups and downs of life, the navigation of the different events and sequences that happen in our life. So let's get into it, right? Quote of the day: every person's life is a tapestry of events, some wonderful, some not so wonderful, and some downright disastrous. Ellie Claire. Song of the day: My Way by Limp Bizkit. So I have a good idea what tapestry means, right? Um, from context clues, from hearing it different times in my life. But I wanted to look that definition up just to make sure, because recently I found some of the definitions of some of the words that I used, the definitions I thought they had different meanings, or they had other meanings, meaning more than one meaning, right? Um, at the end of the day, I looked tapestry up, and the first one is actually talking about fabrics, and it was something along the lines of textile fabrics with pictures or designs formed by weaving textiles and fabrics interchanging, right? And that's not what we're talking about here, right? Or is it? Because even though the second definition, which is intrinsic or complex combination of things or sequences, seems more fitting, the first definition kind of works too, right? Because life really is a textile fabric with pictures or designs formed by, weaving different, that could kind of fit there. But we really are talking about the second one, and that's just a complex combination of things or sequences of events. And that's life. Life is not going to be sunshines and rainbows. Life is not going to be bright days and picket fences and the birds are always chirping. We're going to have great days like that, awesome days like that, days that we're not going to want to ever end, days that we're going to look back on and be like, man, every day should be like that. And that's awesome. But we're also going to have thunderstorms. We're also going to have hurricanes. We're also going to have floods and tidal waves. We're also going to have earthquakes. We're also going to have forest fires. And we're also going to have days that aren't necessarily disastrous, but they're just gloomy. The sun could be out and everything could be going right, but it's just a gloomy day. So where am I going with all this, right? Everyone knows that. This is instilled in us since we were children. Like, it's not going to be perfect. We all know that. We've all seen that. We experienced that. The key is to learn how to navigate that. Because if it's a tapestry, if it's a maze, if it's a complex design or combination, that means that you need a key to navigate it correctly rather than stumble around, rather than guess and check, rather than just to assume or hope for the best. You know, hope is a beautiful thing because hope is something that lets us know there's a possibility of a better future. There's a possibility of this being something, the solution to this will happen. There's a possibility that the sun will rise on this situation. That's what hope is. But hope is not a strategy. Just because we have hope doesn't mean we sit there and we simply rely just on hope. Hope is what we have. Hope is what might motivate us. Hope is what keeps us going. But strategy is what we're going to do to get those visions that we hope to come forth. So, what is the strategy to navigate when you're having a not so wonderful day or a downright disastrous one? You need to seek your higher power. And I use my words there very carefully because even though I am a Christian, I am very respectful of everyone else's religious beliefs if they don't align with mine. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're this or you're that or you're wrong or anything like that. You have a different faith, and that faith teaches you to be a good person, then I applaud you on that. Now, there are some faiths out there, and we won't get into that today, that I do and I will call wrong. And that's because they don't teach people to be good people. That's because they're based on going after another person's faith. That's because they are a negative group or force out there. But as long as you have a faith that teaches you to be a good person, a decent person, and to treat people with respect and love, then I can't knock your faith. So the first thing we do when we're having those gloomy days is we need to tap into our higher power. For me, that's God. For me, that's being a Christian. For me, that's prayer. That's meditation. That's isolating myself. That's getting alone with my thoughts and saying, what exactly is this situation that I'm upset about, that I feel gloomy about, that I feel down about? Analyzing it and seeing exactly what can be done about it. That right there is a lot of power. Asking yourself and asking your higher power what can actually be done about the thing that we're sitting there and obsessing about and having anxiety about and continue to talk. Because at the end of the day, if nothing can be done about it, then why are we continuing to stress about it? We need to put it in his hands and we need to let it go. Now, let's talk about the reverse of that. What if something can be done about it? What if something should have been done about it and you didn't do it? This is a learning moment. This is a learning opportunity. If something can be done about it, don't hesitate. Do it. Execute. Come up with the plan and go ahead and go after it. And then once it's done, it's done. You've done your best. Whether it improves the situation, whether it makes the situation worse, or whether it doesn't change it at all. If you have an idea on how to improve a situation that you're in, come up with a game plan and do it. So that is my way of navigating these disastrous and not so wonderful events, to learn from them, to seek a higher power, to understand the most important thing. And I drive this home in so many videos. I drive this home with so many people. This is just a moment. Like, if you notice, she said wonderful, not so wonderful, and disastrous. Not just not so wonderful and disastrous, not just disastrous and wonderful. You have several moments. This is a moment. So it's time for you to get through this moment so you can get to the next one. So you can learn from this moment and you can navigate these pitfalls again, if they ever happen again, excuse me. Another thing that helps me get through not so wonderful moments and disastrous moments is keeping motivation in my back pocket. I call it keeping an ace up my sleeve, right? And that's a motivational video on YouTube of some of my favorite artists. That's a song that I love. That's a book, a quote, a movie scene. One of my favorite movies to watch to get myself motivated is The Dark Knight. I like The Dark Knight and I like The Dark Knight Rises. Those two movies really show me the power of enduring, the power of overcoming, to have someone just as tenacious and want just the opposite of your goal and to seek to hold you down, and yet you're just not going to refuse to let that happen. I like Gladiator. Gladiator's a good one. Tron, Troy, Man on Fire. See, when I put myself on the spot like this, I can't get a chance to think of them all. But there's so many out there that just show that, the willpower of overcoming, of having a goal and not letting anyone or anything stop you. So that's another tool. But coming up with these tools, developing these resources, this is how you continue to navigate that tapestry of unfortunate events that may happen in your life. And even the wonderful ones. I mean, you honestly have to learn how to navigate the wonderful ones, especially if you're someone who's used to not so wonderful days, if you're someone who's used to a lot of disastrous things in your life. You might find yourself in a good time, in a good moment, and not understand how to enjoy yourself. It's actually a better problem to have than to be someone who is doesn't know how to deal with the not so wonderful or disastrous events. I would rather have that problem of not knowing how to deal with wonderful times than not so wonderful times. But at the same time, it's still a problem. You still need to learn how to, hey, you know, take a step back, breathe, let your guard down, and enjoy a good time. And it can be hard when we're predators, when we've been on the fence, when we're warriors, when we're gladiators, when we've had to thug it out in the jungle, when we've had to do what we had to do to survive. And now we're on the other side of that thing. We built something. We built this utopia or this society, this environment that now we can enjoy. And sometimes it's hard to just take a deep breath and relax because you're still on that mode. You're still prepared for that. And but that is something that, to navigate it, you need to realize that you're no longer where you're at. That's where you need friends who can just be honest with you and say, you're bugging out, bro. And I'm thankful I have friends like that. I have friends that'll tell me when I'm wrong. I have friends that I can tell when they're wrong, and they won't just disown me. If I have a friend that I was talking to the other day, and we were talking about a situation, and I won't put out his business out there, but it was a situation with him and his significant other, and I told him, hey, you're wrong, because you guys are already agreed that wasn't going to be the situation. We already agreed how we felt about that subject. So why are you still trying to put significance on that subject? And this is just a random like scenario, right? If you're trying to tell me, I should treat these apples the same way you treat them when I already told you I don't like apples, like, so why are you so upset that you see how I treat apples? But and I told him basically, hopefully that scenario lands. I'm not gonna put the man's business out there, but I just, I let him know, and he received it. He said, you know what, that's why I love you, because you tell me exactly where I am, and you know what, you're right. We did agree on that, and so forth and so on. But I won't want to make this too long of a video because I already have to make this 2 parts because of how long it is. So I'm gonna try to go ahead and wrap it up now. Life is a tapestry of events. Some are going to be beautiful and glorious and wonderful. Some days are going to be just mundane, and it's going to be like another day. Those are blessings too, right? Because at the end of the day, he woke us up and he gave us another shot. So, and then some days are going to be downright disastrous. We're going to lose someone we love, we're going to lose something we love. We're going to have a setback. We're going to fail to get something that we are trying to achieve. Those are blessings as well, because again, he did give us another day. Those are hard days, very hard days, especially when we lose someone. That's the days that we celebrate their life. Okay. And we can do another video on that about losing people. But just understand, no matter what's happening in your life, this is just a moment. And you have several more moments to live. So come up with the tools, develop the resources, study and get the knowledge and wisdom that you need so that you can navigate this tapestry called life. I want to thank everybody out there for watching this video. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Be kind to one another. Keep me in your prayers. I'll forever keep you in mind. Endure, believe, rise.